Good afternoon. Today is the 17th of March, and it's time to talk about something I've wanted to speak about on the channel for quite a while now. The proposed changes to the makeup of petrol that you can buy in this country. So now, as somebody who uses a classic car on a virtually daily basis, this is the 1991 Rover 216 SLR automatic that I bought at the end of last month. There are certain things which now affect us we never used to before. One of them being the availability of fuel for some reason. Now, this car was introduced before catalytic converters were compulsory in this country, so it doesn't even have one. Later models of the Rover R8 are fitted with catalytic converters, and indeed one I used to have before this, which was a 96 model, though it was made in 1995, did have a catalytic converter. I do remember, though, in 2005 when I bought my 1980 Triumph Dolomite 1500 SE, that I had to put an additive into the fuel tank every second tank, because by that stage LRP, lead replacement fuel, wasn't on sale very much. And well, I don't think I've ever seen it for a number of years now. But that was what came in about sort of year 2000, when they banned 4-star leaded petrol, which is the last of leaded petrol available in this country, because of environmental concerns. You could either buy LRP, or you could go and buy a bottle additive and put it in every second tank full. I do apologise. I have to make sure that my other screen that I'm reading here doesn't go off. You could buy the additive, which I had in my glove box of the Dolomite, and I put it a little bit in every second tank, or you could buy LRP. Obviously, that has become less and less common, as there are fewer and fewer cars on the road now that would have originally used leaded fuel and couldn't actually be used with unleaded without the additive. A lot of cars were converted. I know that Austin Rover cars could be adjusted and things like that to run on unleaded only without major problems, but some cars are just as they are, and they haven't even been adjusted anymore. So that was something that actually was a thing for a while. However, this actually concerns something entirely different. For a while now, petrol's been labelled in this country differently from what it used to be. It used to be 95 octane, which is what the normal unleaded tends to be. So if you buy at a supermarket, 98 or 99 octane for the super unleaded. It's been renamed fairly recently to E5, which means it's got 5% ethanol in it, or 5.5%, I believe it is, although it's still called E5. And in line with other countries such as France, it's now been decided that fuel will be changed from E5 to E10. So the mix will be 10% ethanol and 90% petrol. I'm going to read now to you a part of the monthly newsletter from my local classic car club, of which I'm a member, the Test Valley Motor Enthusiasts, about proposed changes to motor fuel. Now, they've taken advice from the Federation of British Historical Vehicle Clubs. I think that's what it's called, FBHVC. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that organisation. And this is what it says. Let's pull this a bit closer so I can read it a bit more easily. A press release from the FBHVC has outlined the current position of the government's proposal to increase bioethanol content of regular grade petrol from 5.5 to 10%. This is to meet their commitments on carbon emissions, and will follow consultations with interested parties, including FBHVC. These will last until the 19th of April. Thereafter, the hopefully modified proposals will be introduced into law. The FBHVC says E10 fuel is of interest to older vehicles, as this level of ethanol may cause some flexible fuel holders, seals, gaskets, plastics and certain metals, crucial to the fuel system to corrode or degrade. I'm sure a lot of you will be familiar with those concerns. This may cause damage to fuel pumps, carburetors, seals or injectors, pressure regulators and fuel tanks, but are not resistant to ethanol. The bioethanol may also dislodge particles on older fuel systems, causing blockages. The rollout of this higher level of bioethanol faces challenges, not the least of which is that the only UK refinery making it has closed. The environmental cost of shipping in additives from other parts of the world negates any environmental benefit. In answer to a question in the Commons asking what the potential effect of a new proposal will have on older vehicles will be, I think I've got to add will be in there, the Department of Transport replied, increasing the share of bioethanol in petrol by blending up to 10%, known as E10, could provide significant carbon savings, helping us meet our climate change requirements. One of the main barriers for introduction has been vehicle compatibility. Currently, about 95% of petrol cars in the UK can use E10, but around 700,000, or maybe even more than that, are not warranted by the manufacturers to use E10. I'm not sure that this car, to be honest, is warranted to use E10. Obviously, we can't ask Rover to do it anymore. The number is expected to decrease as vehicles come to the end of their life. However, some classic vehicles that are not advised to use E10 will remain in use. The prolonged use of the E10 in these older and classic vehicles, not under manufacturer's warranty, can cause corrosion of some rubbers and alloys used in the engine and fuel systems. For those vehicles, the department remains committed to ensuring that the E5 is retained as protection grade if E10 is introduced. The comment from the Tesla motor enthusiasts is, there's nothing to worry about except availability and price. Well, I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to you to decide what you think will actually happen in this regard. This Rover is obviously not the only car that might be affected. There'll be loads of other cars that might be. And we haven't got a carburettor on this model, although they did make a carburettor engined K-Series 214 in the early years of R8 production. So, I don't know. I'll be interested to see what you think about all this. Now that we're free of European Union control to some extent, although how long that will take to sort of, come back to full control over certain things within this country, I don't really know. But please don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more updates on such issues. Don't forget to like this video and leave a comment below. I'd be particularly interested if you have a car that you definitely know is not going to run an E10 petrol, and what you're intending to do about it with this announcement. I know a lot of you love the older vehicles that appear on this channel. I love classic cars too. This is one of the reasons why I like this car. Facebook page is facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. If you wish to source a car for you, it could be a classic one or a new one, then please don't forget to visit my website at www.lloydvehicleconsulting.co.uk. And as this story develops, it's still very much uncertain as to when this will be rolled out. If it happens to come through, then I'll do a follow-up as well. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching.